Welcome to UEOM Internet Church. October 4th, 2024. Episode 14. When and if it is true. It was always true. This cannot be said with one exception, therefore no exemption. Oxford University Press Dictionary definition of the adjective exempt: free from an obligation or liability imposed on others. Which is to say, when such a thought works its way into a nation's exemplary document, such as the Constitution of the United States of America, to serve as a desirable model for united visions and as a type of warning to be trusted by human populations whose future generations also will count on the written wisdom of it. Then, contradictions violate that trust. In effect, the Constitution in part may have sufficed to satisfy some of the people involved with composing its Bill of Rights, its amendments, but the temporary intention, in truth, could not be a permanent stipulation, in quotes. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, end quote. First Amendment. This is the case in point herein, because this statement literally permits such a contextual parameter to be above the law. It gives a free rein to religions per se to control population numbers who en masse eventually can outnumber a nation of people in any of the 50 United States who are divided, thus transforming the initial intention to form a more perfect union as a self-usurping power. Instead of one form of government, which according to Article 4, Section 4, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. In 1789, when the U.S. Constitution was ratified, and in 1865 through 1866, when slavery was abolished, the United States became a democratic state. Perhaps this is when two political parties dominated the election cycles, when Republicans versus Democrats compete for control of the people's voting power. Republicans are known as conservatives, and Democrats are known as liberals. Liberals, however, are also considered as progressive. But much of what has been recently promoted by Democrats is more regressive, reverting to aspects of the slave mentality conditioning, when censorship and DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, dictate who can and must qualify for various positions in education institutions and governmental offices, all of which is less than a self-governing system that is said to be of the people, by the people, for the people, and more like a Marxist type of rule which follows the dictates of communism. Possibility of a democracy becoming a theocracy lingers in the First Amendment's contradictory permission that enables the establishment of religion to be above the law, prohibiting the lawmaking authority any inputs pertaining to religion's free exercise, which in principle does not guarantee everyone in the nation can be free from such obligation when it is imposed on self and others. In truth, religion, the R factor of the PRJWBCH acronym, functions as a reward and punishment behavioral model since it promotes God, promises the comfortable reward of heaven, and the eternal damnation of hell, neither of which has ever been discovered by science, but can be classified as a fantastic contrivance of the human imagination with such lasting effects on the human psyche, since the beliefs are carried over and into every always partially overlapping generation. To put it another way, the Constitution of the United States of America indeed can serve as a template for any nation's unifying truths when clarifying examples of blatant contradictions. The contradiction literally and technically forbids its Congress from making a law in respect to a religion, permitting the belief system to freely exercise its power to usurp the self-governing system that has evolved over time from 1776 through 1866 and is a continuously evolving process. Regardless of any interpretation, the USA is a nation of individuals who are influenced by contradictory freedoms of the press to iterate any politically self-serving intention without checks and balances. Again, this constitutes problematic situations for the general public, who do not tend to scrutinize every tidbit of communicated information while relying on such convincing programming and news publishing persuasion, some of which are elaborate productions costing millions and billions of dollars. Intellectually informed, synergetic minds, awareness of cogitating reliably in respect to equilibrium as a metaphysical conceptuality differentiated from physical disequilibrium that we can read in Synergetics 326.40 inspire systemic thoughts, referential analysis, and synthesis of the Constitution of the United States of America, while also satisfying the individual's proficient editing potential to separate the wheat from the chaff, relevance from irrelevance, logical from illogical. The always and only coexisting complementarities are purposely, conceptually, applicably in this entire regard, with too many to list here from Synergetics Dictionary, The Mind of Herbert Winster Fuller, such as conservation and annihilation, cosmic and local, geodesics and irrelevance, critical proximity and innocuousness, elementary and complex, eternal conceptuality and temporal experience, design and chaos, discretely directional and omnidirectional, disintegration and integration, distribute and inhibit, dynamic and stable, zero and heat, zero and system. By the way, zero is the eternal complementation of system. Our synergetically informed humanities focusing awareness includes differentiating the PRJWBCHM from UYVMOFCH with one's evolving consciousness that can more accurately classify beliefs as convincing emanations from a false premise that can permit writers of any nation's constitution to misrepresent truth-loving intention by validating the potential to divide and conquer it, to keep it divided and conquered by the contradictory exceptions to its law-making Congress. Such contradiction can also designate a preferential religion based on membership numbers, while ignoring immigrating numbers from the world's theocracies, the ideological governments that rule by supposedly divine God. 7 theocratic countries are listed in the World Atlas: Yemen, Vatican City, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Mauritania, North Africa, Iran, Afghanistan. The word religion is least understood as an inculcating indoctrination to overpower population numbers per state in the USA, 50 states, whose voting power can work its way into dominating governmental offices of authority. Generalized law awareness reminds us to recollect that if the systems are unstable, they are not inherent to generalized law. If the systems are stable, they are inherent to all generalized law. Systems are individually conceptual polyhedral integrities. Systems always alter other systems. Systems of thought divide the universe into the conceptual and the non-conceptual. We can learn more about this in Synergetics 251.26 and Synergetics 400.01. UEOM, Internet Church, introduces our 21st century humanity to the concept church. That has more accurately renamed the sound word God, calling this supreme intelligence, universe, eternal, omniscient mind, which is not also a religious belief, but an eligion, a common ground in TUCP, the Universal Communications Process, when exploring the geometry of thinking as a 21st century challenge to evolve and excel at continuously forming a more perfect union. Suggested reading: Synergetics 251.26, Synergetics 326.40, Synergetics 400.01. Until next time, thank you from Christina, Universe Citizen.